Hey guys, welcome to another quick champion spotlight. I'm BreakCBK, of course, and I figure we go into next a champion by the name of Apothecary. Apothecary happened to be one of the first champions that I opened on my account when I was first getting into the game, and little did I know, I ended up finding a champion that I would still be using today, some 3 or 4 months later even, as a part of a lot of my main compositions, including my arena team currently, as well as in most dungeons. And campaign for when I'm trying to progress through it, and eventually was able to beat Brutal. So now Apothecary started off. The only way to get him, from my understanding, is you have to find him in a shard. So obviously it's coming down to randomness there. He is a rare champion though. He is magic focused, as you can see. Being blue, he's of the High Elf faction. So there you go as far as a very basic start. As far as the skills and why I personally think he is a very strong support champion, he's all about speed, baby. And as you know, a lot of this game comes down to speed to make sure that you get to go before your opponents, even sometimes multiple times, thanks to said speed buffs. Now, in the case of Apothecary, Boon of Speed is arguably going to be the one of the best speed buffs you can find outside of some legendary champions. As far as what it does, it places that 30% increased speed buff on the allies for 2 turns, and then it also fills the turn meter by 15% when you happen to activate it. So using this as an opening ability is arguably, again, going to be one of the reasons why you go first in arena, or just whatever the case is. And in a lot of dungeons, using this to make sure you can even get a couple of turns off before the dungeon boss would attack or respond even. Now, as you notice, I have it leveled up, and this is very necessary. He's a champion that you need to spend rare skill tomes in to level up as soon as possible, because both his Boon of Speed ability as well as his heal ability, he will be able to get the cooldown reduction down to a very significant, very low one. In this case, a 3-turn cooldown when it's already applying for 2 turns. And again, the fact that every 3 turns you get to fill your turn meter by 15%, pretty freaking ridiculous. That leads to the Soothing Chant, which is his heal that I was mentioning. The heal's interesting. It's not game-changing in my opinion, but the fact if you get it to level 5, make it in that -1 second cooldown, it becomes a 2-turn cooldown. So ideally he's either casting Boon of Speed or Soothing Chant. And this goes back to the point, there's some turns where he will get multiple turns off before the reaction happens of the opposition, and in most cases a lot of dungeons. So this heal is going to be off cooldown a majority of the time when needed. It's also unique in that it can crit, as you see right here. The fact that this heal can crit is definitely a unique aspect to it, and a pretty nifty one at that. So topping somebody off when they're about half-life or even lower is very, very possible when you're running Apothecary. So the single target heal and a 2-turn cooldown strong. His Scatterbolt ability, very basic, but at the same time, potentially kind of strong too for certain dungeons. The fact that he just attacks 3 times at random, off the bat, you think of the dungeon, I'm blanking on the name, Fire Knight's Castle. That's what I was trying to think of. Fire Knight's Castle, where the dungeon, of course, is all about getting those attacks in initially, so he takes away the shield, and then he becomes more vulnerable to take damage. Apothecary really is a perfect support champion for that dungeon specifically, thanks to Scatterbolt. Now, Scatterbolt does have some downside, and in fact, Arena is one of those that come to mind. If you use Scatterbolt against a team that happens to be crowd controlled, either slept or something from one of your other teammates, there's a chance that it will wake them up, even though you don't attack them specifically. So that's a slight downside to Scatterbolt ability itself, but overall, it can be pretty strong, once again, and it's something like the Fire Knight's Temple. And then his aura, not the greatest. His ally defense in dungeons by 21%. You're likely not going to use him as a leader. So that's something I wouldn't really think about. But again, he's really all about his Boon of Speed. Is his main reason why he's a very, very strong support champion. As far as his artifacts go, again, completely up to debate on what you want to do. But personally, I just run 6 speed set. Like I said, he is all about speed. That's what he's bringing to the table. Speed is the name of the game. You can fix him with some HP artifact sets if you like, because obviously applying speed is great, but he can only do that if he's staying alive. So mixing some of that in isn't out of the question. But to make up for that, I go 6 speed set, and then I look for substats such as health. In this case, he doesn't have it on here. He has crit rate though, which of course is good for the heal. Something I did off the bat, I did stack crit rate on him, thinking that, his heal can crit, it's really good. Personally, it didn't seem like it was that great. It goes back to, I would rather have survivability on him than crit rate. And that leads me to my gloves, which I only have at level 12 currently, but I have HP percentage focused gloves. I think that this is arguably the best main stat that you can have on his gloves, because again, it goes back to the reason of you could go for crit rate to make sure that heal crits every time just about you use it, but then he is not going to be as tanky, and then he could likely die, whether it's arena or whatever else, that much quicker. So I've had more success personally with the HP percentage, and my chess piece is defense percentage. I personally would prefer HP percentage, but I just haven't come about finding a 5-star chess piece yet in the speed category for that. So I'm working with the defense percentage, but ideally it would be HP. And then, of course, I'm running speed on the speed boots. There's no question there, in my opinion. It's only 4-star. So I'm a slacker. But that's what just makes the most sense to me. So again, he's all about speed. Speed and HP, I think, is the name of the game for Apothecary, and that's what you should be looking to focus on. So if you happen to get an Apothecary, he is a very good champion that could help you progress in arena all the way to gold, in my opinion. He's going to be great in dungeons, great in clan boss, great in campaign. He's just a very, very good, especially for being a rare champion across the board when it comes to Raid Shadow Legends. So there you go. Hopefully you enjoyed this Apothecary quick spotlight. Tune into the next one.